Utterly bizarre.
And we are live.
We are live, yes, indeed. Sorry, I thought I'd do that and spring it on you completely. I do apologize.
No worries. I'm used to it. Blink, blink.
Yes. So I might as well address this now while we're on doing the 5-minute thing. So we're not having to. You guys are naked on your lower thirds. I know. Yes, my YouTube issues, because I don't want to bring this up during the actual hangout, but yes, this may actually be related to that, considering that up to last night, I couldn't do hangouts, I couldn't do uploads, I still can't do uploads. So this vlog that I've got, the first episode of the new vlog series, I can't do anything with. Thank you very much indeed to whoever reported my YouTube channel. Much appreciated.
Somebody reported your YouTube channel?
Yep. As breaching copyright, apparently. Scott someone's you're gonna have to tell me how to pronounce your surname, dude. Scott Kukulu. Yeah. Good morning from California, and happy Mom's Day to every mom out there. Indeed. Ian O'Hara, so glad to see Cup of Tea again. Yay. Brett Rose, afternoon from Kansas, taking my mom to see Civil War later today. That's how you do Mother's Day.
Totally.
That's how you do it. Okay. I'm just going to
I just, since we're in the pre-show, I'm just going to say something here. So gave the 15, 16-year-old, we went to Free Comic Book Day yesterday, gave the 15, 16-year-old some money, said, you know, perhaps a Mother's Day present would not go amiss, you know, figuring that he should be able to find something since we're in a larger city, a small city. And yes, nothing. I mean, here I am, Geek Mom. You could find me something to get. There is something out there that I would enjoy. A pin, a little pop, this or that. Nothing. So he's on the doghouse list. No surprise there to anybody that knows my son. Yes, you're welcome to tell your wife this story, Leonard.
Yes. I will gladly tell Caroline, who will clip him around the ear the next time she sees him.
Go for it. I shamed him at brunch this morning. There was a family that came in with 4 20-something-year-old daughters, you know, sons and daughters, all with presents for their mother. To which I said loudly to my son, "See, that's how you do it."
Jason's just asked on the Periscope, does he ever watch the Hangouts?
Lewis, no.
No,
my family does not participate.
No, my wife doesn't watch these either.
Mm-hmm.
The support system, man.
No, non-existent.
So it could actually just be myself and Alyssa talking Comic-Con for a bit. This could be a quiet one. Oh, I'll tell you what I can do. I can pull up the hashtag winner for the satchel.
You're funny.
Which, I'm sorry, if you haven't taken part in this competition, have you seen it? It's gorgeous.
The bag, it's amazing. Yeah. I wish I could enter. I would love to.
Wish I could get one.
Yeah.
I actually am going to have to buy some more Dark Bunny Tees t-shirts because all mine are they've shrunk in the wash.
Okay, SDCC fit.
Yeah. Okay.
And we're not talking about the running for 26 miles thing, right?
If you wanna. Yes, like a fool, I've applied for a spot in the London Marathon. Haven't got it, because that's not the way it works. I've got no viewers on Periscope now, which I'm assuming is because everyone's now on the
Hangout.
the Hangout, which is good. That's the way we like it. Okay. So there you go, that's the countdown. Something I haven't turned around and said is thank you very much indeed to everyone who sent in pics. Admittedly, I've had nobody send in pics this week, which is a little bit, it kind of sums up my week, but still, I haven't really reminded people. If you do want to get your pictures in, send them in to pics@englishmaninsandiego.com. Everyone who sends in a pic will be getting a t-shirt that I will be putting on the Englishman in San Diego website as of next week, not next week, end of this month, which is a Englishman in San Diego T-shirt exclusive to myself, designed by Dark Bunny Tees, which is just incredible. I'm really proud of and happy that they're going to do that for me. But if you want to get one of those T-shirts for free, you can send in your pics to pics@englishmaninsandiego.com. So there we go. Welcome to Talking Comic-Con, a cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. I don't have my cup of tea with me, but I do have a bottle of water, considering it is 26 degrees here in the UK. It's the hottest day of the year so far. Apparently, it's warmer here than it is in Ibiza. It's absolutely boiling. Thank goodness, considering that we've had the most weird weather for the last month. It's like the Matrix has been glitching. It's been very weird. But finally, the sun's out, and I can kind of get into that summer vibe. I've been walking around. The air's been hot in the lungs. It's been feeling like California. That's the great thing. First time I went to California, 2010, just stepping out into Los Angeles air and just having that heat into your lungs. I thought, okay, I've arrived. This is what America smells like. Fun. Looking forward to getting to San Diego on the Monday evening before Comic-Con. I don't know what time you're going to be arriving. That's something we can talk about on the show today. When are you actually arriving into San Diego? Oh, go on.
Sorry, I am coming in on Monday at 4 o'clock. And Ubering and or lifting to the my condo, to a hotel room in the Gaslamp, and probably heading out with a couple of friends to enjoy a movie and some low-key food and just kind of chilling. So
yeah, I mean, I've been asked if I can translate that temperature to Fahrenheit. I can't do things like that.
Oh, you said you're 86. What did you say you were?
26 degrees.
Oh, that's like in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've far exceeded our high temperature in my neighborhood, which is we just got to about 70 degrees yesterday, and the whole world went crazy. Just nature went nuts, and actually got sunshine and birds and leaves popping out and pollen and mosquitoes and all of the things I hate.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, so there you go. That's the temperature. I think there was Jason who was asking about that. For myself, like I say, I'm going to be coming in on Monday. I would be coming in on Thursday, which is when my wife is coming into San Diego. That's right. My wife is coming into San Diego without me and ahead of me. Because I'm going to be attending Star Wars Celebration at the Excel Centre in London, which means I'll be doing Star Wars Celebration, and then 5 o'clock in the morning on the Monday, heading to Heathrow and getting in the direct flight to San Diego, or to LAX, sorry, getting the Surf Rider down. That'll be on Monday night, chilling out, and then on Tuesday night I will probably be at Stone Brewery.
Yes.
Getting drunk with the Nerd Food Boys. Maybe. I don't know. Listen, however you celebrate, do let us know. Jump in on the Q&A. Yes, of course. We want to hear and talk to you guys today. Jump in on the Q&A. Let us know when you're going into San Diego. Are you going in a week early? Do you just go in for the con? Do you sort of like show up on the Wednesday, disappear on Sunday night? What do you do? Do you actually get the chance to look around San Diego? Because that's something that I don't think we encourage or suggest enough. Enough people when we talk about commentating about San Diego Comic-Con. If you not actually have the chance to have a look around San Diego, it's gorgeous. It's a beautiful city.
A couple of things. One thing, so the Sunday before San Diego, you're going to be broadcasting we're going to be doing a show from Star Wars London.
We are. I'm hopefully still going to be in the XL Center at that point. Yes, I will be doing. Well, I know it's a late finish when it comes to the actual event at the XL Center. So I mean, I think it's all the way through to like 6, 7 o'clock in the evening. So I will be moving to one side, and yes, I will be doing a recap of Star Wars Celebration.
Wonderful. That's great. I'm really looking forward to hearing what you say, because one of the things that's happened and is being talked about on the forum is the fact that Star Wars Celebration 17 tickets are going on sale.
Yes,
Orlando, Florida.
Well, yeah, I know Neil Williamson may or may not be watching. At the end of the day, it's a gorgeous day. He may be out in the garden. Beer or two, but a number of people who I've been speaking to have been very frustrated about the fact that we've got the date for Star Wars Celebration next year in Florida, I believe.
Orlando,
sorry. And we've got nothing in terms of guests for this year's event. So a little bit miffed about that. Right, jump in with the any questions on the Q&A, and of course use the Twitter hashtag #CutOTSDCC if there's anything that you want to talk about today. We were hopefully going to be joined by the Baker Street Babes. Now, this was regarding off-site events. We will be touching on off-site today, but that we were going to be talking about the stresses and strains of actually putting on a off-site event in the middle of this nerd party where people are either focusing on the con or it's just such an intense experience. It's going to be very curious. That's what I wanted to talk about. I didn't want to actually talk about the party as such, more about the actual pressures of putting it on, considering it is one of in 4 years, it has become one of the big mainstays of Comic-Con. If you want to go to Baker Street Babes on Twitter and just kind of tap them on the shoulder and remind them that we're here, you never know, they may be able to join us. Let's see if I can just pull up their Twitter. You can sort of like just remind them that we're here. That's Baker Street, that's ST Babes. Yeah, just if you are a follower of theirs, just let them know they're here, and we would love to talk to them. What we can talk about, however, well, Alyssa, I know that you've got a list of stuff that we can discuss. What would you like to talk about first?
Well, we were talking about guests to Star Wars. Let's flip that over and talk briefly about guests for the Star Trek 50th show, which is going to be happening in a Repop show, which is going to be happening on Labor Day weekend this year, 16. They've announced that they're going to have the cast of Voyager there, which is huge. So I am going as press, and my first press application, and it was immediately accepted. So I'm feeling all proud of myself. Let's fingers crossed for everybody who's applying for NYCC. We still haven't heard about press applications for that. So I'm massively looking forward to that experience of understanding how press works. So that's going to be a fun thing.
Just to jump in very quickly with that, we are going to be actually doing a press episode in about 2-3 weeks' time. We've got a couple of people lined up to talk about what it actually is to do press at Comic-Con, considering people have been asking me what exactly what is their life behind the golden rope, as it were. There is no.
That's great. I am so glad we're doing that show. I'm looking forward to it. I need all of the information I can get.
Well, I mean, it's all kind of down to, certainly for one person, Helen O'Hara from Empire Magazine has said that she'd be willing to join us. So just to talk, because attending as press is a different ballgame when it comes to attending a convention. At the end of the day, there's other pressures and other things happening off in the background. Okay, so yeah, congratulations on getting press, Alyssa.
Thank you, thank you. And then there was a massive Free Comic Book Day yesterday. I mean, I had a great time. I hope everybody else did. It's a great, just kind of invigorating, you know, pre-con, getting involved. My local comic book store had the local chapter of the Ghostbusters and the giant Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and a DJ out front and free comics. It was a great time. So how was yours, Leonard?
Well, if you follow me enough, you'll know that I work as a DJ, which means very late night, certainly on a weekend. I was working on Friday night, and as it happens, my wife is also in the kind of hosting kind of industry. She works as a shift manager at a pub here in the UK, and she had a very early start, which meant I came in at something like 2:30 in the morning. She wanted me to drive her to a cover shift that she was doing at 5:30, so I just stayed awake. Did a little bit of work, desperately trying to get the YouTube channel working. Yes, so I didn't sleep. I then went from dropping her off into Leeds, and we did a tour. There's 3 major comic book shops in Leeds city centre. I started at Travelling Man, which is a great little store. The great thing about Travelling Man is, as well, it has a kind of a centre aisle or centre sort of like display area. So people were, and they had all the comic books kind of like laid around this section. So the queue outside came in, went round, grab, and then out. And so and they just, all the people that came for the Free Comic Book Day, they just got sorted nice and quick. So it was just nice. And then if you wanted to go back in and do a bit of a tour of buy some comics, which is always good. It was great. It was just nice to kind of like just wander in, get your comics, and then go. We went from there to OK Comics, which is an Eisner Award nominated store in Leeds. A little bit harder to actually maneuver into because it's rather small and cozy. So they were only letting like 6 to 8 people in at a time, which meant we were queuing for like an hour and a bit to get into the actual. Yeah, I know it's awkward, but great thing is, I mean, everyone was just in such a great mood. The great thing about Free Comic Book Day is when people talk about the declining sales, the declining interest in comic book stores, to see the line going. I mean, we're talking let's see, about 400-meter long arcade in Leeds. OK Comics is about 4 doors down, and the line was going all the way down the arcade. I mean, to have that much interest, that's just brilliant.
I think that's what I was talking about when I was speaking, was that it was just fun to be in that friendly, con, geek, supportive atmosphere. You know, just it's that little taste of con before the season really kicks off.
Oh yeah, I mean, not only that, but the standing in a line for a while.
Yes, absolutely. Let's get used to line standing. Absolutely. Yeah,
a lot of fun. And then because the 2 stores I had been to hadn't gotten the copy of Nathan Fillion and Alan Tudyk's Conman related book, Spectrum, that's the one. And apparently the book had to be requested by the stores, which meant if you didn't really know what it was, then some stores didn't order it in, and they didn't order as many as they possibly wanted. In fact, OK Comics, because it wasn't a major title by a major artist or writer, they didn't know what the relevance was. They just thought it was kind of like this random book that was just thrown in the listings, as it were. And I said, no, it's to do with Alan Tudyk's crowd-funded thing, rather popular. He just went, we only got 10 copies, and they went straight away. So went down to the final store in Leeds, which is Forbidden Planet, also doing their free comic book day thing. Slightly less organized. It was just boxes dumped on the floor, which was rather awkward. They didn't have that many free comic books left by the time we got there. They did have a related sale, so they had these grab bags, £1 grab bags, so it's kind of like 2 half-decent comics and a stinker in the middle, which kind of wound me up, because the 2 decent ones were Fantastic Four #1 from last year, kind of like the new reboot, and also there was Secret War 6, because I thought that I was missing an issue of Secret War. So I picked it up, and I thought, okay, what is the stinker in the middle of this? It was Vision #2 from Marvel, which is Tom King, Gabriel Walter, and Geordie Belair at the top of their powers, with one of what I think is one of my favorite comics of this year. If you've not checked out The Vision, it's a stunning comic book. And I'm thinking, someone's made a cock up here, putting that as the stinker. What on earth? If you did go to Free Comic Book Day, what was your highlights? Put them in the Q&A. Do let us know, and we'll read them out. What was your experiences of Free Comic Book Day? What books did you pick up?
I did not get the Con Man.
Yeah.
Either that I was a little bit late getting to it. Basically, what happened to me is I picked out the books that I wanted. It was my regular shop, and I picked out the books that I wanted. Noticed that there was a limit of 3. Went to the owner, and he said, "Oh no, you're buying stuff. You're cool. Take whatever you want."
Oh, okay.
Well, you know,
there was a limit of just 3 comics, or 3 each, or
three comics per person.
Okay.
Yeah, so you couldn't just pick out, one of everything.
Oh, we just grabbed and grabbed and grabbed.
Yeah, so I mean that's the difference. I mean, some stores are trying to limit it so that they get all the people who just come in off the street who don't buy comics on a regular basis. Trying to limit how many they take, and that one family doesn't take 5 copies of one comic, kind of thing. So I was able to I got the Captain America, the Civil War. Camp Midnight, Assassin's Creed, March, I think the Avatar, Doctor Who, Archie, got the Serenity.
That Serenity book. Right. I tweeted about this morning. If you're a Firefly fan, if you're a Serenity fan, and if you picked up that Serenity book on the Free Comic Book Day, make sure that you are in a strong emotional place when you read that book, because my God, it just takes your feels, opens the legs a little wide, and then takes a nice big kick towards the knackers. It hits so hard. It's beautiful. It's a gorgeous story, but my God, is it emotional. Oh man.
Forward to reading them. I didn't get home until about 9 o'clock last night, and was more interested in the bottle of wine that I was than actually reading through comics. But so the point being that I was trying to say is that for the stores, try, and I know that this is a little late, but try and buy comics from the store that you got the free comics, because it does cost them money to do that. So I ended up spending, I don't know, $20, $30, but that's a normal trip to this comic store for me. But I do that, a couple times a month. So they're always happy to see me come in. So
yeah, OK Comics is where I get mine put to one side, and yeah, I had 30 quid's worth of comics, so $50 worth of comics to collect. So yeah, they were happy to see me. That was a good 3 weeks worth of back issues which I needed to catch up on. And they were good books as well. There were the ones that have been, the Star Wars issues, which I get on a regular basis. The new Star Wars, it's very good. It's starting to head towards the old Dark Horse vibe, where it's starting to not relate to the films as much. Kind of, you're getting that kind of, okay, does this actually bear any relevance to the new time frame or the new films at all? Because that's the one thing that the previous Star Wars books up to now have been really good at, that there's this vibe that this is actually happening in the Star Wars universe. It's now starting to stray dangerously towards that, okay, well, it doesn't really matter kind of thing. It's off in its own little pocket universe. Likewise with The Wicked and Divine, which I've ranted and raved about quite a lot. That's starting to veer dangerously towards superpowered people punching each other in the face.
Speaking of Captain America, have you read the Black Panther, the new Black Panther book?
I've read the first issue.
Did you like it?
Brilliant. Absolutely. It's very political, very dense, which I would expect nothing less from
okay.
who wrote it.
Good, because I picked that one up too, and then went to Captain America and saw it for the first time. Shall we go spoilers?
Not just yet. Not just yet. No, Easy Tiger, because we may actually have somebody who might jump in and join us, because I know that he's watching. Andy Behbakht is watching. Hello. And I know he wants to do a spoiler-ridden show, because what we might, a spoiler-ridden Civil War thing. So what we might do is we'll carry on talking and do the rest of our conversation. And then at the back end, we'll do if you want to leave now, this is going to be spoiler.
That's like a plan.
Spoiler-heavy episode. But
so can I talk about the Doctor Strange trailer? Did you get to see that?
If this is the one that was released online a couple of weeks back, or did you get another one?
Well, we got one that was the trailer for the Captain America. I'm not sure, to be honest with you, if it's the same one or not, but
I suspect it's going to be the same one.
It got applause from the audience. It was that good. So I am, with the big screen. So I am really looking forward to them bringing Doc Strange into the Marvel universe. That's amazing. That is amazing. And of course the Star Wars Rebels trailer was also shown in front of the Captain America too, which will bring December into the geek focus. I do have a little bit of an announcement. At WonderCon, I did an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. trivia contest. People may remember it, me talking about it. It was with
Haley Atwell.
Well, no, she wasn't.
Oh.
It was Elizabeth.
Elizabeth Henstridge, sorry.
Yes, exactly. And Nerd Element, Kim from the Nerd Element, and my moderator, one of my group leaders and moderators from the forum, NC Brooklyn, who's also been on the show, was also in it. And they put it out, Marvel put it out yesterday or a few days ago. So we've been, I've actually been on Marvel TV.
Wow.
So that was fun. That was
okay. Where can people find that?
We're going to be doing a post on it, but I'll also put a link to it in the Q&A, so people can see that.
Speaking of the Q&A, I don't want to make you think that we don't read them, because it's great for you to jump in and make your comments. Michael Leventhal, big sigh. Waiting on NYCC press before applying for Star Trek press, and I do want to do Star Wars Celebration in 2017. It's keeping a busy bee there. Dan Berry, next year's Star Wars Celebration and the Star Wars Dark Side Half Marathon weekend are back-to-back weekends in Orlando next year. I'm thinking about coming over for Star Wars Celebration, the half marathon. Hey, let's get the other marathon that I'm thinking about out of the way first. Let's set about that, the better. Carol Hansen is watching. Hello, Carol. My store Heroes did not have the Spectrum comic I wanted either. I got the Archie and the Serenity comic and then blew $60 on the sale items. Yeah, that's the way it should be. It's promoting your comic book store. Although, I will say this, and this is a kind of a dig. I don't know. If you are a Funko collector, Forbidden Planet decided, as well as doing this rather poorly organized free comic book day and these boxes just laid on the floor while these £1 grab bags, which everyone was on their knees. I mean, it really felt kind of old school with people just on their knees, so like box hunting for titles. They also had a massive pile, a huge pile, of the Dancing Groot convention exclusive of Pop Funko, and you could just take one if you picked something from Free Comic Book Day or bought something or just wandered in. You could just take one. I was feeling a little bit put out by that. I made the effort to get that bloody thing, and yeah, we walked out with 3 because there were 3 of us. I didn't walk out with 3 personally. That would have been cheeky, but yeah. But there we go. That was the freebies that we got. Lots of fun though. Let's see what else we've got ourselves. Ian O'Hara. I will be in San Diego Sunday, probably around 2 p.m. So he's going to be making an early week of it. Hopefully you do get the chance to have a look round. Scott, I will be there on Tuesday by car. Well, that's yeah. I mean, the parking. It's not something that I've been following, Alyssa. What's been happening in terms of parking?
Sunday is sold out underneath the convention. The speculation is that, my personal speculation is that the groups were larger this year than last, so there were more people allowed into Group 1, and that more vendors bought Sunday since they're obviously having to load out that day than in the previous year. So Group 2 goes tomorrow, and as of this morning, I believe there is Wednesday through Saturday available. There's also parking in the Hilton that's still available. Preview night, to my understanding, usually is one of the last ones to sell out, oddly enough. But I'm not absolutely sure of that.
Okay. And the other thing that I know that a lot of people have been asking for, indeed, we've got Michael P. Saying good morning from Colorado Springs and the perpetual waitlist. Let's talk about, yes, I'm sorry, I saw the face on Alyssa there just dropping. Let's cover it. I know that, and it's also going to be rather short of this bit because there's nothing really to say. There's still no news from On Peak and Comic-Con International regarding the waitlist for hotels. Now, Michael is somebody who's been talking to me and has been making a lot of inroads and talking to On Peak a lot, desperately trying to find out something when it comes to what On Peak have got in mind. Considering that every single time he speaks to them, he gets a different answer. We were going from finding out something at the end of this week. We were going from finding out something at the end of last week. We were going to be hearing emails going out over the course of this weekend. The message just hasn't been consistent, and it even got to the point where Michael did get somebody on the line saying, "We don't know. We don't know anything," and it's just so frustrating.
One thing to remember is that we're used to travel planners, which was a small, relatively small organization where you could call up one person, they go walk into the other room and say, okay, this is what we need to tell people, and have a 5-minute meeting and tell everybody. Unlike On Peak, which is how many offices do they have across the country? I don't know.
not sure, but I think it's in the. I think it's certainly double figures.
So there's my guess is that there's a bit of problem actually communicating, between when you get those larger corporations, you have problems disseminating the correct information.
Yeah.
And they don't put out a white paper like they do in tech stuff, where it's like, okay, this is blank, 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 to all of their customer service people, which is, arguably what should happen from a logical standpoint. But this is customer service we're talking about, and it's kind of a more mushy field than tech people are. So that's probably one of the reasons why we're encountering so much problems with it. So that's just to go to Michael P. And I know that doesn't solve the issue of when are they going to, I would be okay with them just opening up all of the Mission Valley hotels so people could book rooms, because there's a lot of people who are happy to book in Mission Valley, but they can't because the rooms are still blocked off. That, to my mind, is a little, yes, we'd all like a downtown hotel room, and all of that. But there's only a finite amount of those rooms available. And you just don't add those to the list. You don't, but reopen the Mission Valley rooms so people can at least get something sorted.
Yeah. I'm currently looking on their Twitter feed. The last tweet they sent out was let's say a week last Thursday on the 28th. It wasn't relating to Comic-Con. Let's have a look at the last one relating to Comic-Con at all. Okay, considering here we are. The last Comic-Con related tweet from OnPeak was on the 8th of last month.
4 weeks ago.
8th of June. That's 8th of April.
Mm-hmm.
What the holy hell? That's insane. That is just insane. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's move on, because otherwise
we don't know. We wish we knew. We don't know. We don't know. I have heard that people have been have been contacted on the wait list. One thing I do know is that, and I don't know how this would work, but I do know that Travel Planners last year, who was already owned by OnPeak, was able to transfer a reservation. I wanted one night in downtown just to kind of experience it. I purchased a reservation that was farther away. I was able to get one that was closer. I called them up, said, hey, can I swap it without losing my deposit? They said, of course. And they went through. So my assumption is that if you purchase a Mission Valley hotel, you are able to get a gas lamp hotel. They will transfer your reservation.
Yeah.
If you do get somebody to say that in an email, keep the email and broadcast it, because we need that information.
Indeed. We will be. I do a daily search just to get, and there's just nothing. It's just, I tell you what, you do find everyone's just getting angrier and angrier and angrier. Okay, something that I was going to do at the top, but because we're missing our guest, what we are going to do is I've been spreading things out, including the giving away of the Dark Bunny Tees satchel, which is the Avocados at Law Daredevil satchel.
I am so upset that I cannot enter this one.
I know. Listen. If I can try and swing a couple of freebies, I'll let you know, because it's gorgeous. Do check out the darkbunnytees.com. It's on their homepage. It's one of their featured things. It's this gorgeous satchel, which will gladly hold a 15-inch laptop. It's fully padded. It's beautiful, really is. And we have a winner, randomly chosen from the people who sent in the hashtag foggy rules over the last 7 days. Congratulations to Nia Canada. That's Nia Kwan on Twitter. We'll get in contact with you. Congratulations. But you've won yourself the Dark Bunny Tees satchel, which also kind of reminds me, Canada, if you are anywhere near one very large fire, please be safe. Please look after yourself. And yes, fingers crossed, and all my prayers and best wishes to you, I suppose.
Canada is a very big country.
It's a very big country, but that is a fire the size of central London.
Yeah.
So, stay safe.
The pictures are massive.
Yeah.
We did get one announcement about off-site events this week. Tony Kim, Crazy for Comic-Con, is doing the Game of Bloggers panel again.
He's not, well, he hasn't announced the panel again.
No, I meant the off-site. Sorry.
Yeah. Yes, he's back at his location just at the back of the Petco Park. I can't remember what the name of the location is again. All I do remember is that myself and Alyssa got there around 9:30, 10 o'clock last year, and we couldn't move. I was desperately hoping he was going to find somewhere a little bit bigger, but no, it's a lot of fun to kind of see people very much invested in Comic-Con in one area. So if you follow a blogger, if you follow a podcast, if you follow this, if you follow the Friends of CC forum, more than likely the people involved in that Twitter feed, in that website, in that blog, they're going to be at that offsite, and you can meet them in person. It's a lot of fun.
I'm not. I'm not quite sure how many people will be able to have that they'll be able to let in, because they have so many bloggers in there.
It's so small.
Exactly.
So there we go. Let's have a look, see what else. Something else that we can talk about, if you haven't already signed up, is Comic-Con HQ, which is the new service of video on demand as provided by Comic-Con International and Lionsgate. That went live yesterday, on the same day as Free Comic Book Day. Indeed, if you went into a number of comic book stores, you also got the beta or the beta access code. Hopefully, you've gotten yourself signed up for that. They are very much pushing on the site and on their promo trailers that it is to bring the Comic-Con experience 365 days a year, and certainly kind of spreading it out throughout the course of the year while Comic-Con is not there. Yeah, I went on. It's very slick. It's the actual site itself is it's got some great content on there. If you are watching this hangout from somewhere other than North America, you may have to be a little bit sneaky about how you see the website, but it can be done. It involves VPN. Anyway. Yes, but very, very cool. Some great content. I do know that they're going to be putting up the first season of Con Man, which we discussed earlier. There's also the first episode of Film HQ, which is the new kind of film-related weekly show, which is being put together by, I believe it is by Collider. So it's very slick. And it's been especially. It's not just repeating the Collider video content either. It's a dedicated show for Comic-Con HQ. There's also Kevin Pereira's trailer. He's talking about his show that's coming up. Now, I never actually saw anything from what was the nerd-related television channel that was out in the States, which Attack of the Show was on. The fact that you can't think of it says a lot, considering it no longer exists because nobody watched it.
Oh, it's the one that changed over to that changed over to the Guy channel.
Yeah,
GQ.
G4.
Well, right.
Yeah. Yeah. So we didn't get G4 here in the UK. We didn't get Attack of the Show. I didn't know anything about Kevin Pereira before. I've been seeing some stuff of his on Twitch. I've been seeing some stuff, sort of like checking him out and seeing what he does. He's very slappable, isn't he?
I haven't seen any of it yet. I've got to sign up. So I will look forward to slapping. I will put it on when I'm feeling particularly like slapping somebody and watch it for you.
I mean, I'm incredibly slappable. I mean, look at this face. It's very it's got the footprint to kind of, yes. He's slappable. But there we go. But the actual channel itself and what they're actually, the intentions for what they've got for at Comic-Con HQ, the potential is absolutely there, and I'm looking forward to see what they're going to say. You were saying that you have a
first off, the Dragon's Den is the place where the Tony Kim's party is going to be. In terms of G4, not G4, Nerd.
Comic-Con HQ.
Did anybody else notice that they were advertising on the back of the free comic book day bags that were handed out yesterday?
Well, so, I didn't see that because obviously they weren't. It's not an American available. So it's not available here in the UK, so it's not something that I've seen. So
they're putting.
Okay, well, they're desperately attracting people's attention.
They're piling a lot of money into this, which was kind of interesting to me. I was looking at the bag that all of my comics came in, which is your standard free comic book bag on one side, but on the flip side, it had the San Diego logo on it. I was like, what? I was drinking my coffee and looking through my comics, and so I was very surprised to see that they really are going seriously full force on this, and I look forward to signing up for that. So basically, to sign up for it, we just have to go to the site.
Yeah.
Apply for beta.
Absolutely. The site is comic-conhq.com, which isn't as complicated as Kevin Pereira. I don't even know how to pronounce the guy's surname. Kevin put on the trailer. He made it sound like it's really complicated to work out what the URL is. comic-conhq.com. Pretty simple. Head there, check it out. Attack of the Show is where Olivia Munn first was on TV and got the attention of nerds everywhere. Indeed, you'll be seeing her in X-Men Apocalypse very shortly. Indeed. Yeah. At the so people are kind of letting me know it was G4 that I was trying to think of. But the one thing that I was hoping for is that this new service is not going to just be a G4 clone. When we actually spoke to the representatives of Comic-Con HQ at WonderCon, oh no, New York Comic-Con, sorry. WonderCon, sorry. Yeah, you're absolutely right. They kind of made sure they said we didn't want this to be a direct Attack of the Show G4 clone, but we did want to kind of provide something which was familiar. I'm hoping that they don't just go G4 with the format of the service. So who knows? Someone's asking why didn't we have the Talking Comic-Con cup of tea on the service? Not through lack of trying, I'll let you know that. We've got somebody who's joined us, but I think he needs to turn his microphone on. Oh, there you go. We've got Andy joining us. Hello, Andy.
Hello. How y'all doing?
Fine, thank you. The reason why Andy's joining us is because he's been pestering me to do a spoilerific chat about Civil War, which I think we're going to be doing in about 5 minutes' time. If you haven't seen the film, we'll be inviting you to turn off and go away, because we don't want to ruin it for you. But yes.
But between now and then, we're going to do a little brief thing and congratulate Leonard on starting his SDCC fit. Absolutely. Because doing a little bit every day helps.
Yes, indeed. I did something a bit stupid and signed up for the Virgin Money London Marathon, which is going to be taking place in April next year. So from here till then, hopefully, I mean, at this point I'm walking 2-3 miles a day, and I'm just going to increase and improve, and desperately, hopefully, the stamina will keep going. And
the reason why I did not give you a hard time about this is simply because some people, everybody does things differently, and some people need that goal at the end of the rainbow to say, this is my goal, this is what I'm going to do. Yeah. And you know yourself, and you chose something, and more power to you, and that's why I will be very supportive of you. It would not have been anything that I would have ever done myself, applying for a marathon. What?
Yes, I mean, the reaction I've been getting generally across the board has been, a marathon? You? So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. Going back to Free Comic Book Day, might as well talk about Andy, what was your experience? Did you manage to get out and about yesterday? Did you pick up any books?
I missed it. I was occupied with some other. I was kind of exhausted after this week. I write a lot online every day, so I was mostly in bed, just sleeping off, and then I woke up in like late afternoon thinking, I feel like I should have been up for something today, but yet I didn't. So yeah, I missed it. But I know a lot of my friends.
Mother's Day.
Sorry.
It's called Mother's Day.
I have not heard of this thing called Mother's Day. I totally didn't forget to buy my mom a gift and so on. But yeah, no, I mean, the weekends I'm kind of in a sleep coma most of the time, so I don't really know what's happening around me.
Fair enough. So obviously we are going to be talking about Civil War. When did you get the chance to see it?
Saw it this week actually, but I've been waiting about tweeting about it because I mean I feel like it's so difficult to know when is it allowed to talk spoilers on Twitter. Is it after 2 days, 1 week, a month? And it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna hold up at least for 1.5 weeks and so on, unless I did a show or something like that. So yeah, I mean, I've just been on the download, just thinking, I want to talk about it. I can, because I know half of my followers probably haven't seen it yet and so on. So I don't want to be that guy that spoils that Snape kills Dumbledore. Oh wait. Wrong franchise, never mind. But yeah, no. But I saw it this week.
Okay, right. So tell you what, then we'll see if we can wrap up any of the business of the day before we kind of like invite you all to come back and join us next week for Talking Comic-Con, a cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. Our guest next week is somebody I've been trying to get on the Hangout for some time, which is Flicks in the City. This is, if you've not been to YouTube, and just go to YouTube and search for Flicks and the City, and you'll see their interview footage, you'll see their panel recordings, you'll see the stuff that they do at Comic-Con. It is of an incredibly high detail. At the end of the day, next week we may be talking a little bit more about press as well, Alyssa, and basically about how somebody like that actually attends Comic-Con and balances creating such amazing content and also in trying to enjoy your con. So we're also going to be returning with more T-shirt giveaway next week. We haven't done this one this week because we've had 1 or 2 technical issues, but we will be returning with the darkbunnytees.com giveaway next week. So let's do a quick rundown as well of the comments on the Hangouts. Once again about Comic-Con HQ, Dan Berry with a couple of details. It does ask for your credit card details for file. However, it is a free trial which ends on the Sunday of Comic-Con, at which point they then start asking for some cash. I think it's $5 a month, $50 for the year. Hopefully we'll find out between now and July exactly the kind of content that they're going to be bringing and whether it's going to be worth that money. I personally think, from what we've seen so far, that it will be.
If they keep it at $5 a month, that makes sense to me. I mean, that's something that people can do. That's an expensive cup of coffee. That's that's half of a lunch. That's doable for a lot of people on a monthly basis. That price point makes sense. Thankfully, they're not going into the $25 a month.
Yeah.
I'm real happy to see that.
It could have gone a bit money grabbing. I think this opening salvo of prices, it works out. So
is there a difference between is the difference between what you get if you pay $5 or $50? Is there a difference between what you get from both services, or is it just like
it's a flat subscription service? Yeah.
Okay, no, that's cool.
I mean, whether or not you want to pay once or you want to pay, you know, on a monthly basis, Patreon kind of thing.
Yeah. Which, by the way, the Englishman in San Diego Patreon has switched to monthly, and I have put a really, really tiny little donation in there as well. If you just want to kind of give back to the show, that'd be great. Okay, that's enough of me begging. Okay, right. Oh yeah, might as well cover that real quickly as well. I know that I was talking about the returning of the vlogs, which I was going to be uploading on Thursday. We have had some technical issues in terms of YouTube, but hopefully by the beginning of next week, Monday, Tuesday, you'll have the first episode up. So if you have signed up for the Patreon, you will be able to see that episode online Monday, Tuesday. Fingers crossed. Right, if you haven't seen Civil War yet, this is your 30-second warning. We are going to be talking Civil War, and we're going to be talking about our impressions of the film. We're going to be talking about the themes that are mentioned and discussed in the film. Last week was our spoiler-free review. This ain't. This is going to be spoilerific. So 15 seconds. If you want to turn off now, you're more than welcome to do so. If you want to stick around, you will be hearing about Captain America Civil War, and it is going to be spoilerific. 3, 2, 1. Right. I personally think that the death of Captain America was a very bold choice. In the comic book. Ha! Okay. Who's gonna? I think we'll start with Alyssa. I mean, what was your impressions? What did you see it in? What format did you see it in?
I saw it non-3D. I am not a big fan of the 3D thing. I kind of really the overall impression, and this is kind of, you know, pretty minor in it. I liked the fact that we didn't have the big destroy New York, destroy DC episodes. The airport scene was great. I loved having that space of being able to play with all of the people and the giant and all of those aspects of just spatial relationships within that, without having to deal with the tight confines of the city.
Yeah, you're in a safe place now. You can say it. It's a spoilerific section. Giant Man is the word.
Yes, Giant Man, which, yes, Giant Man and Spider-Man.
We had this problem with the Star Wars one. It took us a good 20 minutes to... We can talk about this. So, yeah. Off the back of what I was talking about with on last week's show with the spoiler-free, I felt that it was a very human film, which was very strange for a superhuman film, considering that you had characters that were being driven by very human emotions, very human motivations. The death of...
Can you pull the seat up? No. I mean, those kind of vignettes took so much more power, got so much more power because we weren't dealing with all of the special effects. And I love effects. I'm a big effects movie. But being able, you know, the VW, the bug, you know, Captain America stepping out of the bug was just, you know, this huge hulk of a man. It was brilliant. So the little human aspects overshadowed the big effects scenes, which I thought was particularly brave and brought superhero movies to a whole nother level.
Yeah. What was your experience, Andy? Was there anything that kind of happened that surprised you when it came to the film?
Yeah, no, I saw it in 2D as well. I think I'm 3D blind, and whenever I'm forced to having to see 3D, I'm distracted by the glasses. So yeah, no, I mean, the one concern I had for this film, before seeing it. So I know there's been tons of interviews and talks about it and so on. And I was always concerned that this was going to be feeling more like Avengers Civil War rather than Captain America Civil War, because to me it was really important that, look, this is the end of the trilogy of Cap. You know, I want this to be as much of a Cap movie as possible, and I think they did a good job with. That's what they surprised me with the most. That it was, in the end, it felt like we were seeing this mostly from Cap's point of view. I mean, Tony is a huge character in this, but at the end of the day, they live up to Captain America, you know, to the Captain America in Captain America Civil War, and the one thing I mean, this is gonna sound weird and kind of like insane, but I was actually almost hoping that someone would have actually ended up dying, because I mean I think that's one of the things that the MCU, look, and I love the MCU, but I feel that there's one of the things that it lacks is depths and, you know, and major consequences. Now there were tons of consequences in this, and that's why I love that it was such an international movie, that it wasn't just let's destroy another city in America. And so it was kind of like we were taking place all over the world, because then it feels, it doesn't feel, it feels more universal. It feels that anyone, like someone in Japan or in China or in Turkey or in Italy and so on, can kind of get into it. It affects the whole world and not just the world of the States. Yeah. So yeah.
I think, I mean, I totally understand that aspect of it. That I mean, it did feel that everyone does walk away from this film, and there are no deaths in it. Everyone. It's still in. You could feel that there is that Control-Alt-Delete. Everyone's still relatively safe by the end of this film. But you could also say that the Avengers die at the end of this film as an organization.
I mean, yeah, that's a point, but the thing is just, when you know that they're going to come back again for, you know, a two-parter Avengers film and so on, it kind of takes away the stakes a little bit. That, you know, yes, they broke up, but it's like it's a temporary breakup. They're going to get together again and so on and whatnot. It would have felt more. I mean, it would have felt a bit different if someone had actually died. I know we had almost Rhodey almost die, and I was almost going to be like, I mean, I feel so bad for saying it, but I was kind of like, good. I'm like, when I almost thought he was dead, because the thing is, I don't have anything against Don Cheadle, but I was such a huge Terrence Howard fan, who played the character in Iron Man 1. And I just don't feel Don Cheadle really fits into this universe, in this role, and so on. Because I was talking to one of my friends yesterday about saying that Terrence Howard felt like he was an equal with Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony. Don Cheadle feels like he is the sidekick. He's, you know, the understudy and whatnot. And I kind of, you know, so that's why I was kind of like, you know, when I saw that he had almost died, I was like, good. I mean, and then I see it at the end of the film, I'm like, whatever. Nope, I never get what I want. This is why we can't have pretty things. I'm an awful human being. I'm so sorry.
I was trying to work out exactly. Sorry, Alyssa, go on.
It wasn't black and white, and I think that's, you know, what you were talking about with the Avengers 3 coming up, is that this movie, it didn't settle things. You know, it wasn't like, oh, okay, this person was in the wrong. Everybody still remained friends. Everybody, you know, understood where everybody and respected each other, as opposed to having that, you know, I'm right, you're wrong, your opinion sucks. That personal attack was not there throughout this movie, and I found that so refreshing, that it was everybody's opinion was respected in this movie, and that it wasn't black and white, it was shades of gray. So that's which I think leads us into Avengers 3.
Yeah. I'm very curious to see how they're going to. I mean, you're right. They are going to have to bring everyone together for this common threat, which is Thanos in Infinity War. But I think it's going to be very interesting to have a good half, 2/3 of a film where they are very much in two camps. And I thought it was very interesting that, in much the same way. I mean, I know that we may have somebody watching that wasn't too keen on the Civil War book. I know that Russell Burlingame from Comic Book Movie, we've had conversations, really not a fan of the original comic because of the way it betrayed Tony Stark and Iron Man's character. And you listen to his excuses or his reasons, and it makes sense. Yeah. This film, however, both sides are absolutely right, and they're both absolutely wrong. And I think that's the great thing about it when you can. I mean, I know people as well that went in saying, "Oh no, Team Cap," and coming out going, "No, actually, both sides had valid points," and there was this. I mean, that's what I thought was great about the original comic as well, that you could support both sides because they both had very valid points. I just loved that dichotomy. I mean, by the end of it, I was supporting Iron Man because at the end of the day, we did see this these massively powerful individuals doing some incredible damage in the battle, fighting each other. But at the end of the day, it was also, like you say, driven by Captain America's story, and the moment that he kind of has Bucky in his mind, his objectivity disappears, and he just turns into this kid from Brooklyn that just wants to support his friend, and everything else just goes to hell because of it.
That was a nice throwback to the first Cap. Sorry, I was just going to say it was a nice throwback to the first Cap movie when he said, you know, I can do this all day. I'm like, oh, I can see little Steve again. I'm like, oh my God, this is good. I love Chris Evans' Cap. I'm just saying.
Oh, they had a great excerpt from that where that scene was referenced. I think that shooter, one of the creators of Captain America got to watch the first Captain America film and was so happy, you know, that scene made it into the movies from the original comic books. It was just, and to see it replayed in the third episode was absolutely brilliant. But to go back to your point, Leonard, that freedom, does that freedom justify caging up people that we saw at the end who are just fighting for us?
Well, that's what the argument was when he turned around and said, when you have governments and organizations with agendas, and then these agendas allow you to create this Guantanamo out in the sea.
For people who are not trying to overthrow the government, they're trying to do the right thing. They're trying to be heroes. And are you going to cage them up for that? That's not right.
Yeah. Got a couple of comments coming in on the Q&A. This is from Michael Leventhal. One issue I had was in the Registration Act. This 117-page document, signed by 110 countries, is ready in a matter of days after the opening sequence of Scarlet Witch causing the death in Lagos, and with no input from the heroes. Where is the back and forth? That, I think, is... I thought that was actually essential. I've been thinking about that. I think it's actually essential to the film that this an implacable document is put in front of them. Tony tries to bend it when he tries to get Steve to sign it. When they get them into, they do get finally face to face, and he tries to bend it, saying, "Well, we can ratify it down the line. We can make changes. We can make alterations to the document." No, because at the end of the day, the government's created this thing, and I didn't have that as an issue, but I understood why it was there, because it's the thing that creates that wedge between Steve and Tony.
I just there's so much history of the Japanese internment camps and Gitmo, and you know, and I hate to bring up World War II, but because it's so overdone, but there are so much us them in human history that once you start doing us them, and we're going to imprison you because of these ideals. So I guess what this is boiling down to is I'm Team Captain America.
Yeah.
You know.
Although I did come out being a little bit more Team Spidey afterwards, so because oh my God,
let's talk about Spidey. I mean, I absolutely found that this film worked the second viewing round, because the first time round you're so jazzed about seeing Spidey on screen, you almost forget or you miss little details because your brain is just going, "It's Spider-Man! Oh, this is brilliant!" So you kind of you miss so much. you watch it the second time round and you kind of know what's coming. Just they have nailed Spider-Man in 20 minutes after all the debacle of all the Sam Raimi films and the Mark Webb films. They got it right in 20 minutes. I was just so blown away. What was your take on Spider-Man, Andy? Did you? How long have you been a Spider-Man fan for a while, or?
Since I was 5. I mean, I sadly there are no photos of me in a Spider-Man costume when I was a kid, but Spider-Man was one of my first superheroes that I fell in love with, and I was very protective of Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. I really enjoyed that, but and I was kind of one of those people that was feeling it would have been fun if they brought in Miles Morales. And going to the film, Tony says, I got a secret weapon. It's in Queens, and we get there, and Tom Holland just starts talking, and I'm like, oh my web, this is working way better than I expected. And I'm like, now I'm jazzed for a new Peter Parker franchise. I love the fact that he gets to be a teenager because, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, they graduated high school in their versions after just one movie. This kid, we're going to see him in at least 3 movies in high school, and I like that innocence. And, I mean, he was so dorky that it was just, oh, sweetie, just keep talking. Just say things that are not appropriate here right now. And Aunt May, I mean, she keeps getting younger and younger, so I was just like,
Now, you see, I've been talking about this with some friends. I think it was with some friends about Aunt May and a younger Aunt May. At the end of the day, she is his aunt. She's the sister of his mother. He's 17. She's going to be about this age. Why has she always been 60, 70 years old? Actually, if you think about it, it makes no sense. This is the perfect age. This is spot on. And it's also rather appropriate that Tony hits on her.
Oh my God. That was the best.
Queens, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
That, to my mind, was it's those little vignettes were amazing throughout the entire film, and that's why I really appreciated the writing in this one. But and the Ant-Man and Giant Man, Ant-Man was.
Yeah, I was expecting some kind of banter going on there about a spider taking on an ant. Felt a little bit robbed there.
I only now saw the connections. Wow, they should have done something like that. I wish we'd see. The one thing I did want to see was his own Spidey costume before he got the more stylized one, because all we saw was just blur image and so. And I was kind of interested. I mean, like, I would want to see how Peter Parker in the MCU started out as Spidey and so, just to see what his costume looked like. Although the minute I saw the goggles, I was like, okay, maybe I don't need to see it because I'm like, maybe this is maybe it's a good thing that it was blurry.
I really liked that touch as well, talking about the dark goggles and how the fact that it. I mean, you were right, Alyssa. The way that it was written was just so. It was just so well written. Every line was just perfectly pitched for it there. Considering that you talk to any 5-year-old, 10-year-old, how does Spider-Man get his powers? He was bitten by a radioactive spider. Everyone knows it, so why talk about it? Do we have to see the Wayne shot again and again and again? We know how this stuff works, so they didn't touch it. And it just went, okay, when this thing that happened to me happened, everything's dialed up to 11, so I need the dark goggles to make me focus. And I just sat there and went, that's brilliant. That's just brilliant.
They didn't overplay things.
No.
I think with the little jokes, the 2-line jokes, the explanations, they didn't go into unnecessary stuff that we already know, and that's great.
Yeah. Dan Berry has asked, did anyone else catch the sly Disney-related Easter egg in Civil War? You may have to elaborate on that one.
I mean, Disney owns Marvel. I mean, that's the only Easter egg I can think of.
Come on, Dan. You're gonna have to. Okay.
Was it when he mentioned Star Wars? When Peter was talking about the Star.
Yeah, Star Wars, perhaps. That was nice.
That was wonderful with the 4-legged I forget what they're called.
The
The four-legged Star Wars.
walkers.
The AT at work walkers, right? Actually, I've got a great little thing for that I'm going to post in a moment that people will want to click on.
Okay. No, I did. I liked that. Just the way that, yeah, he's 17, if that.
I think it's 15 or 16 or something like that, even younger. And I kind of appreciate it because that means that, I mean, I don't mind seeing a trilogy of him being in high school and so on because, I mean, yes, it's going to make me feel old because I'm like, well, high school was such a, like, it was like 4 or 5 years ago for me. But, you know, just seeing a kid in modern high school just, you know, while also trying to be a superhero is far more interesting than a superhero that is in college, honestly.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm up for it.
Black Panther?
Sorry?
Can we talk about Black Panther? Because, oh my highness, I mean, like, the excellence, royalty, whatever. I mean, I am so jazzed for the Black Panther movie after seeing this. I mean, Chadwick Boseman just nailed it. And that costume, I mean, that is sick and slick.
The only concern I have about Black Panther now is just how serious that film's going to be. I mean, we were kind of almost promised a relatively serious Marvel movie with Thor, and we kind of got it, but it was still very fantastical. This has the potential of being a very political, very driven, very dark Marvel movie. This is going to be. I mean, we thought Civil War was in that kind of domain. This could be the first really dark MCU movie. Still jazzed. I mean, the boy's got some moves. Very, very cool. The comment that's come in, Dan Berry has explained what the Easter egg was. Bucky's cell. The number is D23.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
That's great.
See, we didn't spot it. So there we go.
The writers of this film didn't plan that to be a nod to it, and they say, "Oh, we didn't even think about it. We just wrote something randomly." I'm gonna laugh my butt up so hard because how does that happen and none of us picked up on it?
We need to watch it again.
Yeah,
we have to go back and see it again. And D23 is going to be the weekend before San Diego next year in 17.
Yeah.
So we're going to have D23, then San Diego Con.
That probably means no Marvel presence then at at least for Hall Age at Comic-Con next year because they're so tied to each other.
Yep.
Well, we said that about Star Wars, and we had Star Wars Celebration last year, and we thought, okay, well, they're just going to do everything for Star Wars Celebration. Then they brought out the mother of all panels with a concert and everything. So.
But wasn't Celebration a few months before Comic-Con, or when was Celebration last year?
It was about a month.
A month?
About a month. But anyway,
then.
There we go. Scott is saying Civil War is fantastic. Seen it twice already. Spidey was done perfectly, and the same for Black Panther. The airport battle was amazing to watch, especially on IMAX. I'll back him up on that one. I saw the first screening, which was 3D IMAX, and yeah, to see that giant man stomping around, and yeah, it was impressive to see on a big screen. Very, very cool.
Something I want to say about Ant-Man is that while I wasn't a huge fan of the Ant-Man movie, I will say that Civil War made me appreciate Ant-Man more. And I mean, I don't know if I need a sequel to Ant-Man, but at least I know I appreciate the character a lot more and so on compared to when I saw him in. And it's not because of Paul Rudd. It's just that I didn't find the character as compelling. But once I saw him mixed up with all the other Marvel characters, it was made a lot more fun and enjoyable to watch. And I mean, can't we just have a movie called Giant Man instead? I mean, like, why do we need Ant-Man and the Wasp? Just Giant Man and the Wasp would be so much better.
I think, to my mind, the Ant-Man was a perfect juxtaposition with the Deadpool movie, because Ant-Man was for kids and Deadpool was for adults, and I think that it gave everybody something that they could go see. Now, granted, they're different different houses and all of that sort of stuff. But speaking of different houses, and explain this to me, how did MCU get a hold of the Spider-Man character? I didn't think that that MCU could do Spider-Man because they had sold it.
Yeah. Well, Sony were very much on the back foot after the email leaks of 2 years ago. They were still struggling after the sort of like critical bomb of Amazing Spider-Man 2, and at the end of the day, they obviously were in a better position to talk to Kevin Feige. At the end of the day, the standalone film is going to be a Sony film. They own the rights. It's still a Sony picture. Although it says a lot that in the week before Captain America: Civil War was released here in the UK, there was an interview with Kevin Feige who announced that the actual film itself is going to be creatively driven by Marvel Studios. So it's effectively going to be a Marvel Studios film sublet by Sony. I think Sony executives were sat in Civil War and just went, yeah, you've got this. You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's all yours. Go for it.
So it's a cost thing. So they basically said, we don't have the whatever it takes to do justice to this, and we want to make a lot of money, so we'll split the profits with you if you drive it creatively.
Yeah. All we're desperately hoping for now is that Fox has the same kind of motivation when it comes to Fantastic Four.
And X-Men, don't they do X-Men too?
Yeah, but they've got X-Men okay.
Yeah. I mean, okay. I feel if X-Men starts to struggle, I think that's where maybe they will try and do some sort of deal. But I feel like now that they're gonna move not just from the big team, they're gonna do X-Men TV shows as well. And so I mean, like the X-Men franchise seems to be, I mean, they could still want to do like some sort of crossover deal where they say, yes, we're doing still good money and stuff, but we want to kind of creatively be able to do more things. I mean, I think. From what I understand, I think the Spider movie, the profits will go mostly to Sony because Spider-Man. But I think if Spider-Man shows up in a non-Spider-Man film, I think the profit goes then to Marvel and so on. I mean, I don't know how that deal works, but I mean, yeah, I mean, we saw what happened. I think Spider was in it for the film for about 20 minutes or something. I mean, just seeing how well that could work in just 20 minutes. Just imagine how a big feature film will work. So I think Sony's doing, I don't want to say, Sony doesn't deserve a right, they don't deserve to have spying, so on. I mean, they pay for the rights fair and share, but the fact that they are willing to do these crossovers and have them in the same universe is, I mean, I think it's really cool. And, as I was seeing, Alyssa, I was seeing all the Daredevil awesomeness in the background, so it made me realize that, that because they have Kingpin in MCU, now hopefully Kingpin will show up in a Spidey movie and stuff, because that would be awesome seeing Vincent D'Onofrio and Tom Holland interact and so on. And I don't think that would have been possible if Sony hadn't made a deal, because Kingpin had gone back to Marvel because he's more a Daredevil character than a Spidey character and so on. But that is an awesome background you have. I'm trying to figure out what is those issues that she has of Daredevil in the back and stuff.
I've got a 131, a 168, and a 7. All for the Daredevil. So
is that Punisher in the first one?
I've got one. I do have a 131, which is the first Punisher at some place. He's not up. I got the first red costume, the first Elektra, and the first Frank Miller writing. So
that is awesome.
Yeah, it's.
No, that's just showing off.
Yeah, just
not awesome at all.
Yeah. So what? So the next MCU movie is Doc Strange in November.
Yeah.
Okay. I was wondering if we were going to get anything else. So we'll get the Star Trek movie in the middle of the summer, then Doc Strange.
Yeah.
Anything else big coming down that I missed?
From Marvel this year? I mean, there's Apocalypse coming out in just a few weeks.
Please, how did I forget that?
I mean, maybe if you were meaning just MCU related things, then Doctor Strange is something that we're getting in the fall, but. I mean, I think they're going to start shooting Spider-Man Homecoming pretty soon. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess Luke Cage is also the next big thing for Marvel too. I'm dying to see Luke Cage because I love Luke Cage. I loved him in Jessica Jones. And Mike Coulter is, I mean, he's the best. So, but I can't think of
You've got
anything
Luke
else.
Cage coming down. Is Jessica Jones season 2 next year?
No, I think from what I understand, because the original contract was Daredevil season 1, Jessica season 1, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and then Defenders. So right after shooting Iron Fist, and then right after they're going to start shooting Defenders right away. So I think Jessica Jones and Punisher season 1 will probably happen in 2018, which I mean it's going to be a long time, but I think I wouldn't be surprised if they start shooting Jessica Jones season 2 next year and so on. But yeah, I think we're gonna have to wait for the future season song. But I mean, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Defenders. I really want to get to that as well. So I mean, maybe they will do something differently though with the order.
We're in a good spot at the moment with just so much content. I mean, when we are dealing with companies at the moment that are now struggling to find when and where to put these properties out there because there's just so much good quality stuff out there. I think we're in a good place.
Yeah, I mean it's not. I mean, like, can you imagine that the biggest problem now studios and networks have is where do we put them? And so like 20 years ago, it was just that we have a problem actually coming up with franchises that we need to get off on the ground and so on. So I mean, this is a good problem to have, honestly. I mean, from a bigger picture, if you look at it,
it's a great time to be a geek. Absolutely fabulous to have real content. I mean, compared to what was available in the 70s and 80s, I mean, I was looking at some of the old Captain America TV show clips that they showed in the episode, the TV episode that they did recap episode, and oh God, it's so nice to be living now.
Yeah, no, those old Cap versions, yeah, they were. I mean, I saw the first one with Red Skull, and I mean, many years ago. I'm like, oh Lord, thank Lord that we got Chris Evans and Hugo Weaving and all those things. Yeah, I mean, both for Marvel and DC, it's a great time to be. If you're I mean, being a nerd now is the new cool, basically. I mean, like 20 years ago, it was. I mean, I was interviewing someone just this week, and we were talking about the fact that if you were a geek 20 years ago, it would, you would be shamed for it. But now it's like if you're a nerd, I mean, you're the coolest person around. I mean, when I'm the only comic person in a group with people that are just, non-comic fan, I'm the one that everyone always asks for, like, what does this mean? What is this Easter egg? What is that logo there on the building? I'm like, oh, now you want my help. Okay, I see how it is. And I was like, I just sit there like, so this is what it means, this is what it means, this is what it means. And, yeah, I mean, yeah, it is. I mean, it is really the best time to be in there right now. Hopefully it's just going to keep going and going for, several years to come.
I mean, we were talking about this at the very top of the show. I mean, the test, I suspect, certainly for DCU, is Suicide Squad. If that film doesn't quite land, then that's when things start getting rocky. But, I mean, you were talking about the strength of the other MCU characters and the fact that Spidey was able to be tempted across because of the way that it was treated at Sony, and the fact that you could have the X-Men in a similar deal. At the end of the day, I think the X-Men films are doing so well for Fox that we're not going to be seeing a similar deal in that regard. And not only that, but they also have Wolverine as well. So there's this franchise that still delivers. At the end of the day, Spider-Man wasn't quite delivering for Sony, which is why we were able to get him in Civil War. A couple of comments that are coming in on the Q&A. Let's have a look at this one. Yes, just 3 words. Vision in clothing.
I laughed every time he was wearing clothes, and I'm like, just strip. You don't need to have clothes on. I mean, I just couldn't take it seriously. I'm like, he's wearing a shirt, and like I don't know. I thought he was cute when he was wearing it and whatnot.
Yeah.
So
if there was anything I could pick on the film about, it was having Vision and Scarlet Witch on the airport scene. Vision could quite easily just turn around and wipe them all out in a very simple move. They could have done more with the whole being distracted by Wanda bit. I didn't think they quite connected that in the airport scene. Everything up to them was spot on.
I wanted to ask you guys, by the way, regarding the villain, Baron Zemo. What did you guys think of him?
Sorry, of who?
of Baron Zemo, if I'm the villain of the film.
Spot on. Absolutely spot on. I liked the fact that it wasn't a big bad. It was just a guy that had a genuine grievance. That was my take. That was my take on it. Alyssa?
It goes back to the whole black and white. You know, nothing is black and white in real life. It's all shades of gray. I mean, there's very few issues that are real black and white. So it made sense that it wasn't want to take over the world guy. And it was just a guy that had a family that didn't survive.
Yeah.
So,
I thought he was a great actor, great part, well written, well defined. I mean, I think Tony Kim put on Twitter, which do you feel which character was the highlight for you? And I struggled at first. I think Baron Zemo, Zemo in this, General Zemo in this. And I thought it was incredibly well written. Sarita P, in the end, everyone is affected in some form or in fashion. Absolutely right. I mean, I liked the fact that by the end of this film, it is such a fractured universe, and I thought that was so refreshing that it wasn't just a happy ending. Andrew English is saying that Iron Man will appear in Spider-Man: Homecoming, so there is that cross-pollination of the two universes, which is always I think it's Sony coming to their senses.
I mean, can you imagine that, 10 years, 20 years ago, people, when people would say, people would have laughed if people heard, that Iron Man was the person that would have to save, Spider-Man's, financial income, basically. So, the fact that Iron Man has now become such a huge character now that he is being brought into a Spider-Man film, that's kind of mind-blowing in many ways. And I mean, and Tom Holland, Robert Downey Jr., they had such good chemistry that I'm like, yeah, put him in that film. Although I wouldn't mind if he just showed up as just Tony Stark. I mean, I don't feel that we need to see Iron Man everywhere. I mean, I like seeing just Tony sometimes and so on. And
so what, basically turning into the Wolverine of the MCU?
I mean, look, he's been the Wolverine of the MCU for a long time now. I mean, if that hasn't really come, if people don't really know that, I mean, boo, that is the proof. He is the Wolverine, and instead of claws, he has, iron suits basically to rely on. So, but I think it's good to have one of those connecting characters that goes between all the franchises and whatnot. I mean, that's why I love the post-credit scene so much of Incredible Hulk when he showed up to talk to General Ross, who was nice to see in this film again, and whatnot. Definitely to see how this film will affect S.H.I.E.L.D. on Tuesday, because I think that's supposed to be the episode where they address the aftermath or whatnot, or, because they're doing all the human stuff and whatnot.
Interesting.
That's a show that I really need to catch up on, very, very quickly.
That's the last time you saw it.
Yeah. Not yet. I'm about 4 or 5 episodes behind. I really need to do some catching up. Tell you what, I might do that after this hangout, which I think is a good place to kind of to wrap things up and say thank you very much indeed to my guests. Andy, it was very much last minute. Thank you very much indeed for joining us, sir.
Thank you for letting me crash.
Where can people find you online, sir?
They can find me on Twitter at Andy Behbakht, which is spelled BEHBAKHT, where they can find all my work at The Flash Podcast, The Marvel Report, Heroic Hollywood, and TV Overmind. And they can find me on Instagram, too, if they want to follow me. I need to post better things on Instagram, but yeah, that's where people can find me.
Excellent. And, of course, you can find him on The Marvel Report, which is certainly one of the better sites out there and information for the MCU. Great.
You make me blush.
Oh, man. No, very much so. Excellent stuff. Thank you very much indeed for joining us, Andy. And Alyssa, thank you very much indeed for... we managed to put a show together.
We have. I just have to say that that with regards to the catching up on AOS, I'm like a season and a half behind, which makes me being on that Marvel trivia panel last month absolutely hilarious. Okay, I had a short clip on the Marvel trivia thing with that we went into earlier this episode, and I knew nothing walking into that. I will admit it now. People can.
It's going to be one of the first things I do is I'm going to be checking out that clip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I actually knew one of the two or three of the questions. Regardless, anyway, Alyssa at Friends of CCI for my Twitter, and I am also on the forum at friendsofcc.com/forum. We're also going to be doing, just to plug, I'm going to be posting a Con Fitness article tomorrow with regards to weight loss, diet, and eating, food intake. So you want to keep an eye out for that.
Excellent. And myself, Leonard Sultana, you can find on Twitter, Englishman SDCC, or if you just type in Englishman in San Diego into Google, you can find me on all sorts of social medias. Do check out anenglishmaninsandiego.com for all the latest updates which I post on the website. If you did join us today expecting to see the Baker Street Babes, my apologies. I do know that we have had a competition running this week to give away tickets to the Sherlock party, but at the end of the day, they were going to select the winner, and if we can't show up to the hangout, we can't choose the winner for that. So hopefully in the next couple of days, we'll get in contact with them, and we'll get a winner chosen for that and give away those tickets for the Sherlock party. Hopefully we can invite them onto the show again a little bit further down the line to talk about off-site at Comic-Con. Thank you very much indeed for watching today. Next week is going to be an episode featuring Flicks in the City. Do head to youtube.com, search for Flicks in the City, search for their Comic-Con content. You'll understand exactly why I want to get them on the show. Their content is slick, it's brilliantly produced, and at the end of the day, they're just like us. They show up and do the press thing and produce their own content, but it is just very, very nicely done. Check out youtube.com and go and search for Flicks in the City. You'll get an idea of why we've got them on next week's Talking Comic-Con, cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. Enjoy the rest of your day. Treat your mother well, whatever you're getting up to, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.